Hello. So, I had like 3 or 4 things that I wanted to say. So, I'm not gonna do a vlog on just one topic. It's gonna be like yesterday's vlog, where it's just a general sharing of all the different points. Um, so, the first point is singing class today. My singing teacher was surprised that I was able to sing much, let's say, better. He didn't say it explicitly. He did say that I did, let's say, have more control, you know? But like, I knew in the moment when he was like surprised. You just know. And when I look at my own sound and how it sounded different, um, and I was doing it, like when you're singing higher, your vocal cords, it gets like tighter, smaller. So I felt that tightness, like a muscle, like tightening. Um, and just in general, without what I've been working with, which I did in a vlog a few days ago, where I was like focusing on my lips. And that's something that I've been doing the last few days, is just being aware of my lips, my cheeks, my jaws, my muscles there, and playing with that. Like, one cool thing I found is that when you make an ah sound and hold it, and if you draw your lips like more, well, you'll see. I'll do it right now. When you change the shape of your lips, it changes the sound. So the shape of your lips when you sing is very important, or talk. So for example, so my throat's making the exact same sound, and just my lips are moving differently. So it actually makes a different sound. So my lips are more out, and makes, let's say, more deeper, darker, more like kind of sound, like if I want a very bright sound, very brilliant, very, let's say, clear, through like my lips have to be out of the way to let the sound come out. So uh, so if I'm singing like deeper, or if I'm speaking deeper, then my lips go out more. That's something that I noticed that Andrea Bocelli does, is he sings like that kind of sound. Good night. That he sings like this a lot when he makes his sounds. So he does purposefully mess with his lips. He purposefully moves his lips around to change the nature of the sound, which makes sense. It's very obvious, but it's not something that I pay attention to when I'm speaking. And so I've been playing with that. We're speaking like that, and also like when you make a smile, like when I finish a sentence. Like, some people who give that presence of being very friendly and sociable, that whenever they finish speaking, they end in a smile sound, like this, like I'm doing, like automatically. And it brightens the sound in that same way that I just showed. When your lips get out of the way, which is what you're doing when you smile, and let that sound come out brilliantly. But obviously, with the limitations of the English language, you cannot do this all the time with every single sound you make. But you can definitely do it when you pause or when you finish a sentence. So that's very interesting. It's like understanding the physical mechanics behind it, like a science, like a just a matter of fact of how sound works, and it's produced through muscles of your face, of your bodies, of your vocal cords. So that's cool to learn, to practice. practice, to feel, to embody. The other thing is two things. One thing is what I'm doing this weekend, which is going out to somewhere in the Everglades, which is going to be like a 45-minute drive or so. Just basically to get out of the city so I can just look at the stars. I'm gonna probably, I said this like yesterday. Probably gonna get like a blanket and like make it comfy and like put it on top of my car and just lay back there in the car. We'll see. But besides that, the second point was how, just playing with, okay, what would be the next adventure? Point of like, I was looking at Florida as a map about where I could go, and in the very south part of Florida, where like the Everglades are, like where the Everglades enter the ocean, that there it's like all these different little islands and like different keys. That's where like the keys are, but it's more like these like places where I could go, let's say either sailing or more likely kayaking, and just kayak for a whole day and just go to these like little islands and I can sleep there. There's like kind of rules there are because there's some bird nesting sites there, so there are designated places to sleep, like camping grounds, like camping islands. But it would be cool to explore that possibility, because in general the idea of just like sailing out to the ocean, just either anchoring there and just sleeping there, or like finding an island there to sleep, that is something that would be cool to physically live and do and experience, because I enjoy that point of physically like going out there alone and experiencing the unknown, and kind of the idea of even sailing, because I know how to sail, because my dad would force us to sail and I hated it, but then as I grew up, I remembered everything I learned, and it's quite straightforward and obvious about how it works. So I can do that. And but doing it by myself is definitely something I've never done before. Just like going to the beach last week is something I never did before by myself. Or when we were doing this weekend, going out to the Everglades, and I've already looked at some locations where I could go that'd be safe to park my car. And again, I never did that by myself. So yeah. And besides that, what else is going on in my life? There is something that's very personal, which I can't really fully explain, because it was a dream that I had, and I know what it means, and basically it is kind of like a deep knowing, like I know on a deep level of myself, an intuition that I will live something that I really want for myself, that I will be able to, that basically I'm ready for that, and so that's really good news, because it's more of a cross-reference point and just simply recognizing this, and it's not dependent on any other person. It doesn't necessarily involve any other person. It's just me and something that I can directly create and live, and It does involve other people potentially, but anyway, I'm not sharing the nature of it simply because it doesn't matter in this case. We share the details. It's more of just I'm ready for that, and I am happy for that, and I look forward to that, creating that, and in so many ways, like, it's already here. Like, I feel it's already here, and I just gotta live it into reality. And yeah, I'll probably share it later on as it opens up, but I can see problems in speaking it because it is very unbelievable, I suppose, and just very difficult to believe. And I do say things which I suppose are difficult to believe, but I guess in this case, normally I would never even say this point, I suppose, but it is what's here. And who knows, maybe later on when I share this point, maybe even just me looking at this video again, doing this video, will remind me of this moment. And yeah, maybe it's specific, but it is what it is. And so I'm happy with that. And I'm going to be buying a house plant, and I'm already approaching it from a point of view of basically getting a pet. Like, I'm going to be going into Home Depot probably on Saturday in the daytime and just kind of like, look at all the plants and kind of just know which one is going to be the right one and have that connection with that plant. And I'm going to look at the facts of, like, what plants do well inside. I'm going to potentially visit another nursery before going to Home Depot. But it's kind of like just like very much in the moment, follow my intuition, trust my gut, and you just know. And that's how I am approaching it. That is how I approach things like that. I just know what is the right one for me. And it's something that I've done many times within making a choice, where I just look, I'm like quiet within myself, and I look at everything that's here, and I just know. And then I just live that. And obviously, that's not always the case because I have a mind, I react, I have fears. But obviously, when I don't, because I've worked on something, or because for whatever reason that part of my life was, let's say, protected from the mind. Oh yeah, hold on, yeah, so you know. But what I was going to say was something else I remembered, which was how I can trace like all my memories of my life. Like right now, like I'm 28. I can go like through different phases, different moments, different memories, and trace back like who I was, like college, high school, middle school, da 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 da. I can look at the specific year, remember the teacher, remember the students, classmates, memories and moments during that year. And basically I can keep going back all the way to the point when I was like 6 or 5, when I hadn't started school yet, and I was living in the big house with my family. And how I was, how I lived, was being very expressive and open and just happy all the time and talking with everyone and just completely normal. So I've always held on to that point as I aged, And I always kind of held on, I guess, onto my memory and remembering on what is important in life, which is that self-expression. That moment where I can be friends with anyone, and where the potential of all of us just being like that, of just being friendly with everyone, talking with everyone, just enjoying any moment with everyone and seeing everyone as that potential of a moment of sharing and opening and depth and just fun. So I always held on to that point as I grew up through my whatever processes. And that was definitely one of the reasons why I very understood early on in Destiny that the point is to get to self-expression. That yes, we stop emotions, yes, we stop feelings, but there is something there that is self-expression. That is, you could say, kind of positive, where it is great, it is wonderful, and it is you. And just like how they said in Destiny videos since the beginning, that what tends to happen is that human beings only have one and at max 3 points that they lived in their life that were real. And that would include such a point of self-expression, like I'm talking about in this nature, where then that would be 1 point. But the potential is that you can live many, many, many points, like multitudes, like who knows how many hundreds of points. And so I knew that early on, and that's what I was going for. I understood that. But I knew I had to walk the process of stopping the energy. As long as energy that is there, I'm not really expressing myself, really. So I walked my process patiently, diligently on stopping thoughts, stopping emotions, stopping feelings, stopping the energies, and knowing that self-expression is possible and just unconditionally trying to do it whenever I can. And so I developed areas of my life that had self-expression within. One of them is like dancing at a dance party. Another one is more taboo, but it is masturbation as self-touch. And that's how I would use the word. It would be self-touch. I wouldn't use the word masturbation because it is the physical action, just feeling my own skin and my own body, that this is me, and that this is the most natural thing that could be, is myself, my body, without thought, without emotion, without feeling, simply pure physical. So those were 2 areas that I developed within early on, that I focused on. And along with simply all the rest of breathing and doing self-forgiveness and writing. And I played piano, freestyle. That was one area that gave me that point of enjoyment and being here and being with the music and creating unconditionally and listening to it unconditionally without reaction. Like purposefully doing it, seeing if I had a reaction to it, an energy, and continue to do it. And then in the moments where there's no energy, I saw how the sound came out. It was really great and like perfect. And that was my physical cross-reference. So that was another area that I developed within. So it's always pushing in some way, in some physical way, to bring something real, whether it's something like music or through my body, which, dancing is a combination of my body and music. Even playing piano is always a combination of your body and music. It's always part of it. Even self-touch, there's a music to it, a rhythm, which when you add rhythm it makes it really interesting. So the rhythm of life, it's always in everything physical, just like how I discovered recently that with talking, when you talk according to a certain rhythm, that it also adds something to your speech. It adds a more of a understanding and be able to be understood because you're speaking at a certain pace that helps the listener to anticipate what you are saying. So that's another way to live rhythm in your life. There are different things I could say, I suppose. Like simply, walking around, eating, looking, simply looking at things. But those kind of things were kind of already part of me. But anyway. So I definitely believe that we are going to change things through destiny, through this process, through helping each other to change and to learn and to realize our potentials and help each other to do so, and the next ones who are going to learn, and so on and so forth, where it is changed. It is very natural and very simple way, through people, through moments, through simply being supportive in our words, in our actions, in our presence, and that is how change happens. It happens through those moments, through time. And that's like the one thing I care about more than anything, is just us as a group, as humanity, and obviously as a subset of humanity as those walking process, but us as people, walking process. That's what I care about. That process is walked, that points are faced, and growth happens, and challenge happens, and things keep on moving and developing. That point is clear, and that is there, and that is what I care about. And so, for me, I do my part, and I definitely hope that it contributes and it expands and adds to process. So I guess that's a good note to end this on, and I'll see you next time. Bye.